Bam. What's happening? Woo. What's happening, everybody? This is Walt Blackman. Hope you're having a great Monday. And man, I had to cough there. Hey, listen, if you hear some dogs in the background, you know there are my dogs. Speaking of dogs, today is part two of our program about the issue with dogs. Reason why it's part two, because we've got a lot of things happening with dogs. I am on my checking on my Facebook, and it says I'm live. There we go. Okay, so if you want to watch it on my Facebook, all you do is you can go to that page. Let me see. I hope you can see that. You can go to that page. It's kind of blurry. Then what you do is you're going to tap live. You're going to tap the live button. I know it's kind of blurry. It's kind of jacked up, isn't it? But you're gonna tap the live button. And when you tap the live button, all you do is tap that and it'll come on. Okay? That's all you got to do. So you can go to that. You can go to my Facebook. It's on both of my Facebook pages. And you can check them out on those pages. I just want to make sure because some people were saying that they couldn't get on. So I want you to be able to get on and enjoy the show. It's the same with this one also. You just click on the corner and it will let you go live on it. Same thing. All you do is click on the corner. You can go live. And once you go live, you'll be able to see it on both of my pages. And yeah, I want y'all to be able to see this. I want you to be able to see it. We're going to start here in a second. Get some more people on. Let's see. Yep. It is all good to go. All you got to do is, like I said, click on it, go to the live, hit live, and it will take you to the page. Okay? That's all you got to do. All you got to do, because I've been hearing some folks have not been able to get on. So I'm going to show it on here. It's probably better if I do that. Then we'll get on. We'll start because we still got some folks that are getting on the show here. You know. Okay. So all you have to do. Okay. I want to show you all so you can jump on if you need to. So you should be able to see this. Because some folks were saying they couldn't get on. They didn't know how to get on. Well, I guess they knew how to get on, but what page to get on? Okay, so you're going to go to Walt Blackman 1. Okay, when you get on Walt Blackman 1, you're just going to click the live right there, and when you click the live, what page to get on? See? Okay, you're just going to click the live right there, And when you click the live, okay, so that's all you got to do. Some folks are saying they couldn't get on, and that's all you got to do. It's real simple to be able to get on, because I want folks to be able to see what we're doing, and you're able to follow along. Okay, so if you go to my Facebook also. I mean, not my Facebook. If you go to my Twitter, it's the same thing. You should be able to see it there as well. Okay. Real easy. Okay. Real easy. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We're going to start talking about what we're going to be talking about in about 2 minutes. Again, want folks to be able to get on so they can follow along. That's going to be fun. I'll show you the Twitter really quickly. So if folks use Twitter, they know how to get on. They know exactly what page to go. Because I want you to be able to get on it. Okay. And then we'll get started. Ooh, I'm going to do that. Okay. So again, if you want to use my Twitter, you just log on to Twitter, whatever your Twitter is. You can click the page, or you can click the home, or just real easy, click the page. Once you click the page, it'll say live, that I'm live, and you can see that I'm live. It's too easy to do. Okay. Real easy to do. So since we all know how to get on there, I think we should go ahead and start, because I want to be cognizant of folks' time. And so we can talk about the important things that we are going to talk about, and that is what's happening with these dogs. I think that's important. All righty. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I know I am. Today we're going to be talking about part 2. I've written some draft legislation about this issue. We're going to be talking about that a little bit. I think that's important, that we're able to talk about some of these things. So we're going to be examining the amount of these dogs that are in some of the shelters. We're going to talk about some of the capacity in it, and we're also going to not mention only Maricopa County. All right, because it's the whole state. We got 15 counties, and we're going to be concentrating on just about all of those rural communities. We're going to be including Holbrook, Snowflake, Taylor, and the rest of Legislative District 7, as well as the state. Now, we all know we're facing a challenge with limited kennels, small staff, and long distances between some of these facilities. Last week, I was able to go to Maricopa County and visit their kennel, and I got to tell you, it wasn't. Let me do this. Okay, I got to tell you. I mean, they did what they were supposed to do, what they're supposed to do, or what they're trying to do. So I don't want to get on a deal or some sort of bandwagon as beating up a kennel, because everybody is doing the best that they can. There's a lot of issues, and not just what the amount of these animals we have, that these dogs that we have running around. It's just we don't have the space for them. And then we have the other problem of people leaving their dogs, dropping their dogs off, and not caring for their animals. So just in LD7 alone, and there is a nonprofit organization, and it is called Best Friends Animal Society Report. And that is actually, they took reports from Holbrook, Snowflake, Taylor, and we have about 35 combined kennels. Okay. And that's private, and that is the county one. As I told you also last week, I was able to go to the Navajo County one. It's probably about as big as my office here, not too big. There are some facilities that have less than 3 people combined working in some of these facilities. Correction, 2 of the facilities have 3 people or 3 employees working. There was one I went to, they had 1 employee working, and they had a volunteer. So some of the smallest facilities are operated in this area, Navajo County, which we have a large population of over 100,000 folks just in Navajo County. Now that's also included on the reservation. Okay, I don't want folks to think that it's just in my area. So together with the facilities that I was talking about, Holbrook, Snowflake, and Taylor, some folks will count that as 2. I count it as 3 because we got the 3 towns. 35 kennels combined, and we have very, very limited amount of employees that are working there. Now, some of the procedures that you really already know. First of all, you need to get your dog chipped. Okay. Now, the reports that have been coming out about where these animals are, how many they take in. For example, Navajo County has a transport program. And in that program, they've transferred 92 dogs and puppies. They were transferred to rescue organizations. Now, in Snowflake and Taylor, they have a save rate of 68 to 91%. Holbrook is hovering around 91 to 93 per animal that we are talking about. However, Navajo County does not have a centralized county animal shelter. So really quickly, how it works in Navajo County is that the police departments use one of their buildings, and their building is a evidence locker. It's a building. They've put some kennels in there. They have a officer that works in there. The officer also does his other jobs. He works in there, and then he has a volunteer. It's a small building. They also lease out, I think it's 3 or 4 kennels to the county. And with that, we have a small area where these dogs have to go. And we're trying to work on getting them a bigger area. I think it's going to be important. Now, when we're talking about the stateside pressure of this, I said I wasn't going to just talk about Maricopa County, and I'm not. However, I'm talking, when we're talking stateside. So during 2025, last year, Maricopa County recorded over 11,000 adoptions and over 1,800 animals returned to their owners. And then another 1,700 animals transferred to rescue partners. So that's a 93% save rate. Now, those are actual numbers that we are getting from Maricopa County. And you can go to the The source of that is Maricopa County Animal Care and Control. There's a source on there. I'll provide that source for you. You can go there. You can check it out. You can see those numbers of what's there. We also have the Animal Humane Society. I don't know how some folks feel about the Animal Humane Society. However, I think that just look up the numbers. I'm always telling folks to make sure that they look up the numbers, that they are doing their due diligence, doing their homework. So make sure you look that up, and you're able to see that. I put that source up there for Maricopa County. So at the Animal Humane Center, we're talking about, they have some other things going over there. They are reporting over 25,000 sick or injured, abused, or homeless animals in 2025 alone. Now, I'm just really getting into this space, and that's a lot to me. And I'm just, wow, that's a lot. So, as I said, they have over 25,000 injured or sick dogs. That was the highest animal intake that they've had in a decade. And during 2025, they had over 20,000 animals received medical treatment. Okay, through its they have a trauma hospital for vets. Okay, over 11,000 in 2025 were brought in there because they were abused. It was investigated. They had several investigations on that. In 2025, also June of 26, a few months ago, there were more than 15,000 animals that had already received care, and that represented about 10% increase over the same period in 2025. Now, that's nearly 1,000 animals that were being housed in its facility. And another 900 additional animals were living in foster homes. Like, we've got a dog, Chappie, he's a foster dog, and he's been with us for, I don't know, about 2 months or something like that. Because Chappie was thrown in a canal in a bag tied to, I think it was a cat or another dog. Some yippity yappity threw him in a canal, tried to drown him in a bag, and then some workers saw what he was doing, saw what happened to him, and then they were able to pull him out. So, he was really, really abused. Chappie was. And when he came to our home, you could tell that he was abused. You could tell that he had, something bad had happened to him, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a clip of some of the, I've been, I was doing some research today. I want to show you some clips about some of the other stuff that we've been seeing about some of the animal cruelty stuff. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at this, and we'll talk about it after.
What you're seeing are the horrible conditions 9 dogs were kept in southwest of Buckeye. Some appear desperate to get out of their cages as Maricopa County Sheriff deputies walk through the property. The owner is accused of hoarding them, but then abandoned these dogs instead of answering to the sheriff's department.
Honestly, it makes no sense. I've been doing this job for 35 years, and it makes no sense that she would just up and just leave these dogs to fend for themselves.
While the 9 dogs were saved, Dave Moyer with the sheriff's office tells me it's likely going to be a long road to recovery for some of them.
They did appear, some were malnourished. Obviously, they were scared, and we don't know how long they've been out here in these conditions. They did have some ticks. We don't know if they have any diseases at this point.
Before the deputies got to the property Wednesday morning, the suspect took off in an RV she was staying in. Wayne Pacelli, the president of the animal rights group Animal Wellness Action, says in situations like this, there is a concern the suspect will continue to hoard if they aren't caught.
Many times, hoarders, when the law comes looking for them, run to a new jurisdiction. They seek a new life, if you will, so they can obtain more animals and continue their neglect and mistreatment of animals, even though they think they are not committing adverse actions toward animals.
Pacelli says these people need help, but also need to be held accountable for their actions.
We certainly advise mental health counseling for people who are hoarders. That said, they need to be separated from the animals.
As of this evening, the suspect is still on the run. Now, it's not a crime to own several animals, but you can spot potential illegal hoarding or neglect by watching out for signs on the animals, such as them being malnourished or having untreated injuries. You can find a full list of signs to look out for on our website, azfamily.com. Live in the studio, I'm Steven Sarabia with Arizona's Family.
All right. So that was just one news piece there. And I've got like three more, and then I'm going to get into the draft legislation that I've written. Then we'll get into the comments that are on the screen as well. And we'll be able to talk about some of those things right there. So when we're talking about nationally, okay, the numbers are crazy high. So last year, 2025, there were about 2.8 million dogs that entered animal shelters, and that's across the country, are rescue organizations. And out of that 2.8, 2 million dogs were adopted. So that's not too bad. That's pretty good. You got owners that want to adopt these dogs. They want to take care of them. And about a little over 300,000 of these dogs had to be laid down. Now, strays and other dogs, when we're talking, like, for example, there was a lot of strays that come off the reservations. And they're typically, they don't have they don't have one of those trackers on them. I forget the name of it. They don't have one of those trackers on them. They don't have a collar on them. So we don't know who they belong to. They're considered strays. So that's about 59% of all the dogs and cats that enter these shelters. And that's across the United States, not just here in Arizona. I thought it was important to be able to hear those numbers, because when we look at it nationwide, it isn't just an Arizona problem. It is a national problem that we are seeing. And we've got, millions of dogs. We've got millions of shelters. And every year those numbers increase, they increase. So we really are trying to do our part here in Arizona. And that is why, after looking at this problem that we have, we need to be able to do something about it to protect the dogs that we have here. Now, a lot of conversation sometimes will center around dog bites, and we're talking about public safety. So out of the whole United States, okay, from 2021 until 2025, there were, guess, 4.5 million Americans were bitten by a dog. It doesn't categorize what type of bite. Could have been a nip. You give the dog something, it's a nip, or what have you. So that's from 2000, correction, my bad, from 2011 to 2026. 4.5 million. Again, there's no categorized. They're not, you give, I was given Sherman a dog treat the other day. And we always try to tell them, hey, easy. But, when they get that bacon, boy, they get woo-wee. I got to tell you. So they may be putting some of those into their data. However, I figure a dog bite is like one of them. They eating a chicken. That's how I look at dog bites. So let me show you something else. Another video, and that is, it's gonna, okay. So again, this video right now, they've rescued, and this video is going to talk about rescuing, I think it's 70 or 71 dogs they rescued, some dogs out of there. This is here in Arizona. I'm not exactly aware of where it is in Arizona, but this is in Arizona, and I want you to check it out. And so you can look at
We begin in the West Valley. MCSO detectives on scene confiscating more than 70 dogs, including puppies, from a Litchfield Park home. Fox 10's Nicole Christine is there while that bust was taking place. She joins us live now with the details. Nicole.
Well, Mark, as you can imagine, it's been a really upsetting afternoon here in Litchfield Park in this neighborhood. And MCSO has wrapped up the initial search and seizure. As you mentioned, 71 dogs were removed from this home. And sadly, one dog was found inside dead already. So the rest of the dogs on to some medical care that they desperately need. Now, for hours, we saw dogs just being brought out of the home. The home smelled of feces and dirt. You could smell it from the street whenever they opened the door. MCSO calling the conditions inside deplorable, revealing one dog again was found dead. Detectives were working this case all weekend after receiving a tip last week. Allegedly, this homeowner has been selling dogs on Facebook for over 2 years, mostly designer dogs. She and her husband were allegedly living in a casita in the back while these dogs were allowed to live in filth. MCSO says charges are coming, but the first priority was the rescue of these pups. Meanwhile, we spoke to a neighbor who lives across the street who says this has been both a shocking and saddening day.
I knew the neighbors had dogs. They said they raised dogs, and I didn't think about that they were breeding dogs and selling and stuff, like a puppy mill type, but totally shocked. I mean, you would not, I'd never heard barking and stuff like that, no nuisance. So it's for this type of an HOA that we're in, it's a nice neighborhood, right? So totally shocked.
We don't know any names in this investigation at this time, but of course, this comes off the heels of that huge exotic animals bust that happened a month ago. And then actually the tip that came in that led detectives to the door of this home here in Litchfield Park came after someone saw the post last week of the dogs that were rescued from a property in Tonopah. So the MCSO MASH unit really busy this summer. And that's one thing that Sheriff Jerry Sheridan did campaign on. So we'll continue to follow these busts from the unit and the charges that are filed in these cases. Reporting live in Litchfield Park, Nicole Christine, Fox.
Park, and Sheriff Jerry Sheridan, know him very well. Great sheriff. He's doing all he can, I believe in that. And I'm going to see if I can grab a meeting with him to get his perspective on where things are going with him, and are there any good news stories. Now, there's a real big gap here in Arizona when we're talking about the dogs. So some of the gaps that we need to cover in our bills, part of the policy, the big thing is the animal abandonment. We know, we've seen it. Folks will drive on the side of the road, drop their dog off, and then roll out like it is no responsibility. We got to take a look at the shelter intake. We got to take at the animal cruelty cases, the adoptions, the owner reclaims, rescue transfers, and the hoarding cases, just as you saw. That's all data that there's a lot of missing numbers in there. Not saying the folks that are doing it now are not doing it right, because they are. They're doing the best they can. They're doing a terrific job in some cases. And the cases that they are not really getting to that place where they need to be, it's either the kennels are they're full up. There's not enough staff. There's not enough budget dollars that they need to operate it, and you have volunteers that are working just like full-time hours, okay, and they are driving all over the place, and they're not able to be compensated because budgets are just so limited in a lot of the cases. So while I am looking at doing this policy, this new policy that I'm going to do, we are presently gathering that animal data gap that I was kind of talking about, and it's I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be pretty good policy. So the questions that I ask myself as a policymaker when I'm looking at some of these, some of the pieces of legislation for the state. First question, should Arizona require a standardized annual reporting from municipalities and their shelters and county shelters? That's one of the questions. Standardized reporting could, in my opinion, it could help us lawmakers when we're making policy. It could identify those communities with the greatest needs. We can track animal cruelty and abandonment trends. And we're also able to compare rural and urban shelters equally and effectively and in their capacity. And we can, if we have that data, we're able to measure whether taxpayers need a program like this that has to be funded, or we have to look somewhere else for those dollars. At the end of the day, it's going to take some dollars to be able to kind of take care of some of this. Now, what my legislation does, it is a Animal Abuse Offender Registry. So a lot of states, some of the states have registries. And if you think about a sexual offender, okay, that has committed an SA, they have to go on a registry. And they are tracked on that registry. And based on the crime and the severity of the crime determines how long that person is registered. The reason why it's important to do that, because as you heard earlier in one of the clips, one of the problems in Arizona, if somebody gets cited in Navajo County for animal abuse or for dog hoarding or puppy mills, they can go to Apache County, they can go to Gila, they can go to Yavapai, they can go down to Pinell, and they can start all over again without the state tracking them. We don't have a registry for that. I think it's important that we do that because that's going to mitigate some of the folks that are jumping county to county doing this. At the same time, we need to make sure that we are protecting owner rights. So that's why there was a bill that was written. We'll do the clip here. There was a bill that was written last year that defines animal owner rights and protects owners, okay, so they don't get caught up in some of this. So we'll go to that later, okay? So it would be a statewide registry. The registration is going to require a conviction, of course, due process. They have to be sentenced, correction, not, they have to be tried and sentenced, and what they had their due process, and then it goes from there. The system is going to help law enforcement, courts, shelters, rescue organizations, breeders, and all the other authorized facilities or organizations that these animals are allowed to go to. So, for example, if somebody is on this registry, they go to PetSmart or they go to a shelter to get a dog or what have you. These systems, I want these systems to talk to each other like the DMV talks to each other. That's going to be easy to do because since a lot of these folks have counties operating some of these facilities, or they have cities and towns partner with counties, it's easy to be able to look up and see if a person is on the registry. For example, in Navajo County, we talked about their shelter. There's a police officer there that works there, and all it requires is that the police department or the county or what have you have a computer like they normally use, and they go onto the database. Now, the database is going to have to be built, but we can mirror this database, this registry, off of the registries that we already have for SAers. So it is nothing. We're not recreating the wheel. We are using a system that is already there and plugging in a new program of it, and that is the registry to see if these folks are on it. Now, in the registry, well, let me go ahead and do this. I'll talk a little bit about I'll talk a little bit about that a little later. I'm gonna go to another clip, and this one right here is not in state. It's in another state, and when I was talking about statewide, this is why I want to show you it. And let's take a look at it.
C6 hidden camera investigation of a South Florida pet store selling thousands of expensive dogs nationwide.
We've uncovered unhappy customers who say their puppies are sick or genetically defective.
Tonight, Jeff Burnside goes undercover to reveal where some of the dogs are coming from. Jeff?
Wizard of Claws says it sells only the best of the best dogs for prices up to $10,000 each. So we wanted to find out why, according to heartbroken customers, puppies are getting sick or dying soon after they buy them. You are inside what critics call a puppy mill. Factories where illness and inbreeding can be problematic. From this very place came Nacho. But after arriving at his new home, his owners, who paid $5,000, say Nacho became gravely ill, diagnosed with internal parasites, severe arthritis, dislocation of his kneecap, and more.
I cried. I really cried. I was crying. I understood at this time why he was so sick, and it really broke my heart.
Vanessa and Andreas Bossi hand-fed Nacho for months, and she claims she even contracted the parasite from Nacho.
For 3 weeks, I had to take antibiotics.
Nacho came from Wizard of Claws in Pembroke Pines, which boasts top-quality purebreds, trendy teacup-sized puppies, celebrity clients, and happy, healthy dogs.
The Wizard of Claws Celebrity Kennels specializes in world-class quality teacups.
But our investigation uncovered where some of those dogs actually come from, the kind of places that the Humane Society of the United States says breeds dogs with an elevated risk of congenital defects, like these other dogs sold by Wizard of Claws, like Terminator and Parker, both with knee defects called patellar luxation. Lily, a liver problem called portosystemic shunt. Piglet had a skin disease called congenital canine lamellar ichthyosis. Indiana had hip dysplasia.
Are you selling defective dogs?
No, absolutely not.
Jim Anderson runs Wizard of Claws. He and his sales team emphasize his dogs come from select private breeders he's known for years, some who raise puppies in their homes.
First of all, we buy these dogs strictly off breeders that my boss has done business with. They're dogs from breeders. They're not from breeders.
We buy the best of the best. We pay them premium.
But we traced dog after dog that Anderson purchased on internet auctions, sort of an eBay for dogs. Our cameras watched this van packed with tiny puppies. We saw 32 delivered to the back door of Wizard of Claus from Missouri, 1,300 miles away. This is Edgar Springs in rural Missouri.
Let me show you some video.
Using hidden cameras, we went into this dog breeding operation called Puppy Tracks. We traced 50 of Anderson's purchases to here, including these dogs that later became sick and one died, although it's impossible to pinpoint where they got sick. We were shown dogs in cages.
7 for her. 5 for her.
And these cowering dogs in a wooden hutch.
These two are breeding stock. They look terrified of people. The water bowl right there, as you can see, is frozen over from the temperatures in the teens last night. There's no visible sign of any kind of heating element back there. They're shaking right now, and the morning sun has already been up for about an hour or two.
Owner Debbie Mace says these blue barrels keep them warm enough.
They should clearly be reported, and that's somebody I would not buy a dog from.
Shouldn't you know, though, the facilities that you buy a lot of dogs from, such as Puppy Tracks?
Shouldn't you know where you bought them shoes from?
Puppy Tracks was cited by Missouri for not fully sheltering dogs from weather and suspended by the American Kennel Club for submitting false records about breeds.
Can we sit down and do an interview with you guys?
Get out of here, I'll call 911.
I'm sure the substandard facilities I purchased dogs from, not puppy mills. Look in a dictionary.
Well, let's use your own definition of a puppy mill.
Right there on the Wizard of Claus website is a long description of a puppy mill, describing precisely what we saw.
Isn't it a fact that you are buying dogs from puppy mills?
That's not with my belief, no.
But you're implying to your customers you do know where your dogs are coming from.
I'm not applying to all my customers. Most customers don't really ask, they don't really care.
We also went undercover to another Wizard of Claus supplier, Linnell Eclair's breeding operation in Oklahoma, repeatedly cited by a federal inspector.
She tells me to do something, I do it, and most of the time she just writes me up for some little something.
Violations like adequate vet care and cages that need to be sanitized and repaired. Some so small, big dogs could not stand up.
Have you ever been there?
No, absolutely not.
How do you know that it meets your exceptionally high standards and all the other definitions that you have?
I don't.
Would you call that a puppy mill?
I'd revert that as a puppy mill. I would call that a puppy mill. She has a lot of dogs there. I didn't know she had that many dogs. I clearly didn't know she had that many dogs, okay?
This is the very definition of a puppy mill.
We showed our video to Wayne Pacelli, president of the Humane Society of the United States, the world's largest animal welfare group.
If it looks like a puppy mill, smells like a puppy mill, sounds like a puppy mill, it sure is a puppy mill.
Pacelli knows. He testified before Congress about puppy mills.
What we saw in your video were dogs that were too frightened to come, or that were just manic in wanting human attention. Their feet don't touch the earth. They're standing on wire, repetitive motion. And they're at the point of even going a little mad. In fact, there's a direct line from puppy mills to Wizard of Claus. So the public is being hoodwinked, and they're being told one story, and the reality is something starkly different.
Well, Jim Anderson says among the thousands of dogs he sells, he has many happy customers and pays vet bills and gives refunds as the law requires. His former longtime vet, Dr. Jan Bellows, says the exam for a health certificate does not necessarily catch all the illnesses or genetic defects. But the largest animal welfare group in America is taking notice. Tomorrow, the Humane Society of the United States is expected to make a major announcement about Wizard of Claus. That complete story tomorrow.
Okay, so
NBC6 hidden camera investigation of a
that, and see, it is just not happening in Arizona. We've got this stuff happening all over. I'm going to go to the comments as soon as I'm done. I know we have some comments on YouTube. I've got my great friend Molly viewing on YouTube, and she's sending those questions to me because for whatever reason, YouTube will you can view on YouTube, but you can't send your questions or comments to the platform. So she's doing that for me. She's going to actually be on this Friday as we talk about fire issues here in Arizona. So what my bill actually will do, and again, it's a registry, and there are registration periods, and I'll go through the penalties pretty quickly. So, for example, first time it's a misdemeanor. Let me pull this up for you really quickly because we're just working on it. I was working on it today. So I want to make sure I give you the right information. So, and again, got a lot of this from states that are actually doing this right now. So if these are the proposals, is what I'm looking at, and for some of the penalties for violating the registry. So first time someone is cited and they have been charged, they have been sentenced, they had a failed trial, there are no rights, owner rights that are violated, so on and so forth, and they are duly convicted of it. The first time it's a class 2 misdemeanor. Okay. And with that, what I've done is I took a look at the statute. I took a look at the 13 series, which is the criminal code. And so class 2, first time registry violation. So if you get cited in one county, right, and the cite is the first offense. So you still have to register. So you go to another county, and now these are crimes that have abused, folks have abused the dogs. They like the puppy mills, so on and so forth. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so when a person does that, they've been cited, and they do it again. Okay, it's a registry violation. So that's a class 2 misdemeanor, up to 4 months in jail. The second violation, it's a class 1 misdemeanor, up to 6 months in jail. The third time, or if it continues to happen, it's a class 6 for first time felony for felons. If prison is imposed, that sentence could range from 4 months to 2 years. Okay. And that's presumptive, as you know. And if there's any fraud identified in this, when we're talking about the class 6 felony, a person could eventually spend more time in prison, okay, and a lifetime on the registry. So they can never get a dog in Arizona. And if they go get a dog out of Arizona, they bring it into Arizona and they're on probation or something like that, they get checked, so on and so forth. If they're running one of these mills and somebody reports them, then that falls under the regular sentencing requirements. And these folks will spend a lot of time in prison because they, number one, broken their probation tells, so on and so forth. And at the end of the day, the due process has to go forward, and it's important we take care of this. Now, some of the key differences, the distinctions that are already there on the books and from other states. So when we're talking about the folks that continue to do this, we're talking 5, 10, or lifetime periods of registry. That's the time. That's what they would lose they're not allowed to own a dog. Also in the registry, they cannot transport. They cannot do something in Maricopa County and then go outside of Maricopa County and do the same thing because they will be in the registry. So they have to register, even if it's a first-time offense. And that first-time offense has to be something that's on the books that is that the definition of animal cruelty, so on and so forth. If they meet those criterias, it's going to go by the existing law that's already there. What I am doing in this is I am adding this registry to that law so we can track these folks so they can't jump county to county, and they are in a system to where if they break the law continuously, then we have a way to say you are not a first-time felon doing this or misdemeanor. You are actually a habitual abuser of animals, and you're going to spend some time in one of our facilities, and you are going to be on the register either that 6 months or all the way from 5 years to 10 years to life. So that is the draft that I'll be working on. And I am, and I'm not just doing this because, I like I said, I have animals myself. And it's important that we take care of these animals. Okay. And we just got to take care of them. So now talking about, I've missed this part. So those folks again that are already legally required to get on the registry, they have to register. It's just like someone who is an SAer, they have to go on a registry. They have to, yes, they are a dog abuser or an animal abuser. They did so on and so forth. It's either class 2, class 1, class 6 felony. Just the violations graduate. So because we don't want to violate the rights of some of the owners. So let me go to this last video, and then we'll go to the questions and comments. How we take care of this. Now, some time ago, Senator Bullock out of LD2 wrote a bill, and she partnered with I forget another senator. No, correction. She partnered with Representative Julie Willoughby, who was getting ready to go over to the Senate. She's our majority whip. They wrote a great bill. The bill got stalled in our chambers for whatever reason, and I was able to carry it as a striker, run it through my committee, and to move that bill. And eventually, that is the bill that Governor Hobbs signed this past year, SB 1658. Let me go ahead and play this clip for you, and then we'll get into the questions. The questions and comments. Just give me a sec here. Working the techniques. Working the techniques. No, we got to do that. Okay, so here we go, and we'll get this started for you.
Pass the bill! Pass the bill! Pass the bill!
Jerry's our star today. He's why we're here. So thank you all for being here. So good morning. I'm Dr. Steve Hansen. I'm president and CEO of the Arizona Humane Society, and I'm enormously grateful that you guys are all here today. Your voices are being heard, and they're absolutely critical to making this bill move forward. I also want to thank Senator Bollock. She has been the brains and the force behind this. So she's the person that's making this happen. So we are incredibly grateful. And Senator Cubey, we're so glad that you're here and a co-sponsor as well. Thank you guys for sponsoring this bill. This is legislation at its best, maybe a little bit challenging as well, if I'm going to be honest, of course, but okay, so we're going to do this. But what I wanted to do was introduce Jerry. So Jerry is here. Jerry was one of the Chandler 55 dogs. You might recall in 2023, in fall of 2023, an egregious case of animal welfare, of animal abuse occurred in Chandler. And Jerry is a fabulous example. Handover Rover took care of Jerry, and we're really appreciative to Coco and the team for all that they have done, the pressure that they applied during the Chandler case. And Jerry is now in a loving home and recovering and doing quite well. I mean, is he an amazing dog or what? So this is why we're here. You might recall that case involved 55 dogs, 5 of who were deceased. And had HB 1658 been in place at that time, these animals would not have suffered for nearly as long. It took several weeks for us to actually get a search warrant because of the very lax Arizona laws that we currently have. So SB 1658 truly matters because it allows law enforcement to act. It allows our team to act, and it especially allows a judge to write a search warrant, which is key. This bill covers the minimum that animals need: food, shelter, and water. It is such a common sense piece of legislation. It's almost crazy. So water must be fit for consumption. Current Arizona law allows that 1/4 of an inch in the bottom of a bowl with algae and feces, that counts as water. You can't act on that. Food must be fit for the species, which is very important. We don't require anything particular, just fit for the species. Very straightforward. Shelter must be such that it protects the animal from the environment. A burned out car in the back of a house with a hole dug underneath does not count as adequate shelter in Arizona. So, and one of the other very important things that it does is it changes the definition of suffering. This is what would have happened. This is what would have helped in the Chandler case. It changes it from time-based, from protracted suffering, to intensity-based, which is unreasonable suffering. The courts understand unreasonable suffering, and a judge can act on the search warrant. It's really, really important language. It's language that's used in other states. It's not anything particularly special. So we do have bipartisan support, which we really appreciate. And today I do want to let you know that the bill actually will be heard today, which we're very excited about. And it's thanks to your pressure, it's thanks to Senator Bollock, it's thanks to Senator Cubey and House of Representatives Willoughby. You guys have done all the hard work behind the scenes. So what we need is 2 votes today. We need it to be flipped to what's called third read, which is the final vote, which will send it to the Senate. So if any of you can join us afterwards, we're going to be polite and professional in the gallery, but we're going to have a presence. So again, our final call to action is to have this bill voted on today and to have it passed. We do thank our House of Representatives Speaker Montenegro for allowing it to finally be voted on, and we appreciate that. So with that, thank you for being here. I'm going to pass this to Senator Bollock, and again, we are very grateful to her. This would not be happening without her. So she is the most important person, and we also have House of Representatives Blackman here as well. He was key to allowing this bill to be what's called a striker bill. He allowed it to be heard in his committee. We appreciate that vision. This bill would not be moving if it were not for him. So thank you very much. Yep.
Well, good morning. I can see all those orange shirts. Can you? Good morning, my fellow animal lovers. As you can see, I have at least one pet. I'm wearing my I Love Bruno shirt today. My name is Shauna Bullock. I'm not only a state senator from District 2, but I'm the mom of 2 rescue racing greyhounds and this Italian greyhound. And I'm pleased to be here today. We're all gathered today because we love our pets. Over the years in my own household, we have had the pleasure of rescuing several retired racing greyhounds, a pit bull Basenji mix, and now an Italian greyhound that runs our current trio of sighthounds. As they say, a house is not a home without a dog. Andy Rooney famously said the average dog is a nicer person than the average person. He was almost certainly right, and because of that, many dog owners go to great expense trying to protect their dogs. I know over the years I've forked over hundreds to thousands of dollars for blood work, x-rays, ultrasounds, hoping and praying my dog wasn't dying of some crazy malady or worse, had cancer. Sadly, we have experienced it all. Please join me for a quick look back at my time at the Capitol. In 2021, I sponsored House Bill 2507, a bill that became known as Matthews Law. Matthews Law protects pets after an owner's death. The bill was named after Matthew Meisner, who was murdered in Tempe. His family and friends were unable to immediately obtain access to his apartment after he was murdered. Matthew Meisner's family worked tirelessly with Tempe police detectives who got involved to rescue his cats. His cousin Megan reached out to me to work on that bill. Her parents met me when I was going door-to-door campaigning in the spring of 2020. As you may know, some people don't go door-to-door anymore, but I do, and I like to listen to my constituents. The bill was signed into law and authorizes the landlord to request a tenant provide. Sorry, I can't hold the microphone. It's kind of like falling over. The bill was signed into law and authorizes the landlord to request a tenant provide the contact information of a person authorized to retrieve and store the tenant's property if the tenant is incapacitated. In 2022, I sponsored House Bill 2372, another animal cruelty-related bill. A constituent emailed me and said, "Hey, have you been following the animal cruelty story from Maricopa County to Yavapai County?" I said, "No, I don't watch the TV. Sorry, news people," or read the local newspaper. So she messaged me a few news stories capturing the issue at hand. So we worked to ensure individuals who were abusing animals on probation who moved to a different county would be charged with a new violation. After the bill passed, it established that an individual on bail or release for an animal cruelty offense must be serving a term of probation and be charged with a new violation of the specified animal cruelty offense. And it prohibited the individual from possessing or having contact with any animal. Which brings me to 2023 and how to address that horrific hoarding issue that came out of Chandler that year. Last session, we tried to get this very animal cruelty bill across the line with Senator TJ Shope as a sponsor. Last year, both Senator Kavanaugh and I each had sponsored a bill to try to address this major hoarding issue out of Chandler, to give law enforcement the right tools. Now, this morning, we were gathered here because I sponsored Senate Bill 1234, which the House Speaker double signed, effectively killing it. But I helped to revive the same animal cruelty bill with Senate Bill 1658. And I want to take a moment to thank my buddy, Representative Walt Blackman, who ran the Strike Everything to revive the bill. I decided to introduce Senate Bill 1658 when I learned about significant shortcomings in state law that make it difficult to prosecute people who commit cruelty against companion animals. This bill provides straightforward definitions for food, water, shelter, and medical care requirements for companion animals. The definitions that exist under current law are vague and fail to provide even bare minimum protection in animal cruelty cases. This bill will allow prosecutors to hold individuals accountable when they intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly deny animals necessary medical care, fail to provide consumable food and water, or leave them in unsafe outdoor conditions. As you may all know, Arizona Humane Society's own emergency responders, who are often first on the scene in many of Maricopa County's animal cruelty cases, they have seen a sharp and concerning increase in both the number and severity of these horrific crimes. And I want to give a shout out to them because I saw their vehicles here earlier when I pulled in. Senate Bill 1658 will provide law enforcement with clear, enforceable standards they need to protect animals in critical need. Senate Bill 1658 does not penalize well-intentioned pet owners who make honest mistakes. This bill targets the most egregious perpetrators of harm against companion animals. There has been a significant increase in the number of cruelty cases reported in the last 2 years. So this bill is desperately needed to give first responders, law enforcement, and prosecutors the tools they need to protect animals and prosecute those who are committing these egregious crimes. Later today, the House is set to vote on Senate Bill 1658 so we can provide the bare minimum protection that our companion animals deserve. Please be sure to urge your state legislator to vote yes in the House on this very important bill. I want to thank everybody for coming down here enduring the heat, traffic, and everything. I applaud everybody that came down to advocate for the future of our furry friends. As I already mentioned, I have 3 of my own furry friends, and I want to make sure we are doing everything we can to save our pets. Thank you so much.
Senator Kuby, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm State Senator Lauren Kuby, and it's an honor to stand with so many of you today who believe, as I do, that Arizona can and must do better for our animals. And I want to thank Dr. Hansen. The Arizona Humane Society staff, everyone here, but especially my colleague, Senator Bollock, because she has been tireless and courageous and just like a pit bull. She's like a pit bull fighting for this legislation. And I so admire her tireless work. And she's a mentor to me because I'm a new legislator. So we're here united by compassion, common sense, and the belief that we should reflect the basic decency of the people of this state in our bills. And we know that animals are sentient beings. And SB 1658 does exactly that. It's about setting a floor, not a ceiling. This is for setting a floor for how we care for animals. It says at the very least that every companion animal in the state deserves clean water, food that's fit to eat, shelter from the blistering sun, and medical attention when they are suffering. These aren't luxuries. These aren't luxuries. This is the bare minimum. And the bill's not complicated. It's not controversial. And it isn't partisan. In fact, it passed the Arizona Senate with overwhelming bipartisan support. And those kinds of margins, as we can attest to, are really rare these days. And it speaks to the moral clarity that we all have on this issue. We're not talking about sweeping new regulations. We're about protecting animals and providing law enforcement with clear guidelines so they can intervene before an animal endures prolonged suffering, because right now they often can't, and that's not acceptable in the state of Arizona. So I've learned, I've toured the Humane Society, the beautiful headquarters, and I know that the Arizona Humane Society responds to over 20,000 calls a year related to cruelty and neglect. That is a staggering number. And behind every life, though, every call is a life. Behind every call is a life. Like Jerry, the brave little dog rescued from a horrific hoarding situation in Chandler. And I have a grand dog named Booker who was also rescued from a hoarding situation by the Humane Society, and he's the joy of my life. But Jerry's story is heartbreaking. It's also full of joy, as you can see. But his story mostly is a call to action today. We owe it to Jerry and the thousands like him to make sure we never allow that kind of suffering to go unchecked again. So this bill respects our values, it respects our communities, and yes, it even respects our rural and agricultural traditions because it applies only to companion animals, not to livestock or working animals. So it is time for the House to act because we are so close. We must keep speaking out. So thank you for being here today. We have to keep showing up. We have to keep pressing. Your voices matter. They matter to get this bill on the floor. And without your support, Senator Bullock would be a lone voice in the wilderness, a wolf calling out. But because of your support, we're going to get this bill passed today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Kuby. Now, if Representative Blackman would like to step forward, we would love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Again, Representative Blackman is the reason that this bill is still alive by allowing it to be heard in this committee.
Well, thank you, animal lovers. Let's give it up. Come on. So actually, this is about you. This is not about me. I was just honored to be able to carry Senator Bullock's bill to get this going. I have 4 dogs myself. One of them is named after a tank, and then the other is named after a tank round. But again, this is a great day for animal lovers. We need to make sure that we continue to push forward. So folks that are abusing these animals are held accountable, that they are placed behind bars, and that go ahead and give it up yourself. And that we continue to push forward and make sure that this law today gets passed and it's signed into law. SB 1658 is a good bill. It's a strong bill, and it's going to be able to protect our animals, our families, and most of all, my dogs. Thanks.
Thank you, Representative Blackman.
Okay, so we were sorry, it was a bit long. the reason why I wanted to show you all that is because there is current legislation that Senator Bullock and her cross the aisle colleague ran last year. And again, that gives law enforcement some guidance on on these what's going on with these heinous crimes that are going on when people are, really just doing bad things to these animals. So, in a nutshell, it's going to be important that we do these things with the new bill that I am looking to run this year, this session coming up. Kind of went over a little bit. Okay. It's a registry, the Animal Abuse Registry. Again, those penalties: class 1 offense, correction, first offense, class 2 misdemeanor, so on and so forth. Okay. Second offense, class 1 misdemeanor. 3 or later, meaning more, class 6. And then if it is fraud involved or registry evasion, it's class 6, which can put folks either in our jail systems or in prison up to 2 years. And the registry, again, 5 years, 10 years, or life. So law enforcement can find out, or will be able to track these folks that are jumping around from county to county, and states can actually go in and stop what's going on with these folks that are hurting these animals. It's important that we do that, and we're going to try to do that. So I'm sorry it went over a little bit. We're going to go into the questions, but before I do that, I have some comments coming over from my YouTube, and I'll read these to you really quickly. So the one we have, we've got a few of them. So we have one from Josh. Let me put this up really quickly. Josh, and it says, "We need your help with these dogs tomorrow or tonight." My good buddy over there, Molly, is monitoring the YouTube, so I'm sure I'll get more information on that. Sir Josh, make sure you give your information to text it on the screen so we can grab it, and I can give you a call in the morning on this. Says it's from now another one, 470-tour-5. His comment is, or her comment is, "I don't like the idea of a tax because it takes wealth or transfers it. But with breeders, because they are profiting off of pure dogs, then anyone else can deal with then everyone else," I think that's what they're trying to say, "can deal with the mixed dogs from there." So I am not aware of any tax on this. I'm going to have to find out exactly what you're talking about, or ask Christy. She would know if there's something like that on there. So we're going to check it out. And then from Josh again, 4 found without food and water for 4 days. Now the owner won't relinquish, I guess, the pets. This was in Apache County and has doctor number for abandoning and neglect. Okay, and then at their last deal, they say Apache County is not serious about this. So again, please leave your information so I can get it, and we can help some of these. And it looks like they came over and they were able to. Looks like the The YouTube did send their text over. So yeah, so 470-245. How do you create a balance between pet owners' rights and the state? So that bill that you just heard about, that's why I wanted to play that in its entirety. The bill that Senator Bullock published and it was signed into law actually does that. There are lots of protections for owners' rights in that bill, and it's simple. First of all, it doesn't apply to dogs that are on ranchers. Dogs have those ranchers that use dogs because they are watered, they are fed. A lot of those are outside animals. A lot of those are outside dogs, so it doesn't apply to them. We're talking about companion dogs. We're talking about domestic dogs. Those are the kind of dogs you're talking about that are kept in cages for weeks at a time, and sometimes months at a time, that are not being fed properly, that are not getting their water properly. That's what we're talking about, and the bill actually protects owner rights. So go check out the bill, and it lays it out pretty clearly. And if there's some issues with that bill that you think there are some issues with it, please come up on the radar, as we say in the military, and let me know about it. The same person writes, I want protections for pets that don't allow the states to abuse them, to take pets or harass their owners. I agree with you 127,000%. We got to make sure that government does not get too big to where they are abusing the rights of the pet owner. Okay? This is not what this is about. This is typically going after those bad actors that are hoarding, that are doing the puppy farms, that have these dogs in cages, that are throwing dogs out of their windows, that are throwing dogs in the canals, that are killing these animals, or I guess I can't say that word, that are laying these animals down. That is what this is applied to. If you are taking care of your animal, your dog, you are feeding your dog, you are ensuring that your dog has water. If it's too hot, you don't leave your dog outside. You don't let the dog be unchipped. You register the dog. You make sure that if your dog gets out, that you call the proper folks so they can pick up your dog. That you are checking the pound or the facilities that hold the dog to make sure that that you don't wind up in one of these situations. So if you're taking care of your dog the way you're supposed to take care of your dog, then guess what? You're not going to have any problems. But if you're not taking care of your dogs and your neighbor reports that, and your dog is, and you got a German Shepherd in a cage that a cat would barely fit in, then there are some consequences. There are going to be some consequences. Okay. I believe in owner rights. However, with that becomes responsibility. And let me tell y'all something also. If you're not sure on if what you're doing is not right or is not legal, there are all sorts of organizations that you can pick up the phone and you can call, and they will help you through this. But for the most part, the folks on this live feed, these channels, you're not doing the stuff that's happening out there that we're seeing. The folks that are doing that stuff, they're certainly not going to be on this channel, at least not tonight. Okay, because they don't want to hear it. But thanks for putting that up there, 470. Let's go to the next one, 470. Again, it's hard to advocate for pups because they don't have a voice. Okay, no pun intended. We're their voice. So you're their voice. And you coming on here and saying that means we've got to do better to make sure that they have a voice. Not being, crazy or anything like that. We just got to make sure they have a voice. And what that means is, again, as I said, if your next door neighbor has 27 kabillion dogs in their backyard, and they're in these cages, and they're out there in all kind of inclement weather or what have you. Their voice is reporting that person next door. Okay, so they do have a voice. We just got to make sure that we echo that. Thanks for being on the YouTube. We've got Mountain Daily Star, Molly, and she is an investigative reporter, and she does some great work. She's going to be on Friday, and we'll be talking about the fire situation, but she's also a avid dog lover, animal lover, and she does great work. So coming over from my Twitter, we got, I put up the source of what we were talking about earlier. You can go to the Maricopa County Animal Care and Control of their books. They have that there. Let's see. We got some other folks on here. We got USAA Advocate for All. And thank you for coming up. Thank you for leaving that up there. And I look forward to seeing you joining me as well. Again, we talked about Josh. He said he was here. Appreciate that. Josh also has 4 dogs on his rental property, and I need help getting them to safety. Now, those folks that are watching this, I mean, we've got a lot of people watching this. Last week we had, close to 100 and something folks that are watching our show. My show's starting to pick up. So if you are on here and you can help Josh, okay, send him a message so he can get some help, and he can take care of these animals. Josh, also, I'll put a number up if you want to call. There's a state number you can call, and you can get some help with that. All righty, and then we got that. We got new coverage. Great. Yeah, we can't ditch these dogs. That's not cool to do. 470 again says, what about the places that profit from puppy mills in Arizona? And so that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that, because again, what this law does, it gives law enforcement some guidelines on how to find these folks, these puppy mills, and the law defines what a puppy mill is. I think there's a difference between breeding a dog and having, trying to breed, 20, 30, 40 dogs. Okay. That's a big difference. And those are the issues that we need to bring to awareness. We need to call folks that can help us with this, and we can stop bad actors from doing this. Also, he says these dogs were 4 days away. Okay, we talked about that a little bit, and appreciate you looking after these folks. 470 Taurus says, "What country are you in?" So it looks like we are getting some folks from out of the state. So wow, appreciate that. I think you may have to take of them. So not real sure what you're saying there, but I do appreciate your comments. That's awesome that you've done that. And make all counties keep and run an animal control officer and shelter. That's also another great one, Josh, because that's what they're trying to work at right now to do, to try to get this a coordinated effort to see what we can do to work on some of the issues that we see. And again, if you suspect or someone who is abusing a dog, or you have questions, you need to figure out where to take an animal that you may need, you can contact 911 for emergencies. A dog is getting abused, so on and so forth. Or you can contact the Animal Humane Society, and you can dial 602-997-7585. You can do that, and you can also figure out, call some of these organizations and they will help you get through this. And then again, you can log on here, and I will, as we go down the line, when we get closer to session, the bill, hopefully I can drop this bill during early drops, and we'll be able to take care of a lot of these animals. So sorry I went on late tonight. We were supposed to be done at 7:30, 7:30, 8:30, something like that. Yeah. 7:30 to 8:30, going over a little bit because we had a lot to cover. So again, if you want to follow, all you need to go is go to my X, my Twitter, my Facebook, my YouTube, like, share, and follow. Really need you to do that because it's important to be able to be part of this. If you want to know a little bit about me, all you got to do is go to my YouTube. You can go to my www.vote-WALT-B, and you can go up to the State House and find out where I'm at. I am a representative from Legislative District 7 on this issue. Want to make sure that we're taking care of all the dogs here. Next week, we are going to have some folks on. It's going to be a cool show next week, next Friday. Don't miss it. From 7:30 to 8. Correction. Actually, that's going to be 7:30 to 8:30. We're going to have some folks on, and they are going to be talking about the private contractors when it comes to fire. A lot going on there. We're going to have some great people on talking. They're going to chime in. They're going to talk to us about what's going on when private contractors are kind of looked over when there's a fire, and they'll be able to get into this more. They'll be able to talk more and get us all smart on this thing. And I look forward to having them. My good friend Molly will be there as well. She'll be on it as well, and we'll have some great conversations about this. Everybody, I appreciate you coming on and sharing this news that we have, making sure that all type of issues that we have are addressed. Listen, I may not be your representative, and I may not live in your state. We got folks from out of state that are tuning in. However, I want to be your voice to be able to, you get that information, you get the resources, and it's not flippant, it's not twisted, it is straight information. That's how I like to give it. With also giving those sources and references so you can look it up yourself. I'm always talking about making sure that you do your research. You crack the book open, you do your part, which is your responsibility. And I'm going to be here to make sure that I give you the information to be able to go find those things. And that we talk about some of those issues that are important to different groups. We got some folks that they don't have dogs. They never want to have dogs. However, they don't think that dogs should be abused. So again, everybody, I'm Walt Blackman, and I will see you this Friday. As I said before, we'll have some guests on, and we're going to talk about fires in Arizona and how we can better protect ourselves. Everybody, I'm Walt Blackman. Take care. God bless. And I will see you on